group here today for the CSI Mobile webinar. This is Bruce Carlson. I'm president of Carlson Software. And on our side, we're joined by Romeo Alexandru and Carrie Morton Jones, who are highly involved with CertCE as well as CSI Mobile. Now, what is CSI Mobile? This stands for Carlson Software Investigations Mobile. It is our first offering for field data collection geared to accident reconstruction and crime scene investigation. Now, its primary application, probably the primary use of this software, will be for car accident investigation. This is where police departments at the city and county level would go out and investigate accidents, sometimes involving fatalities, sometimes just involving making a record of a non-fatal accident. And it's often for potential presentation in court, so there needs to be good reporting, accurate measurement, so that it stands up to a court test. Now, what we've done is take CertCE as the source of this product and simplified it for the accident reconstruction market. Just so you know in advance, the list price of this product is $11.50, working with total stations and robotic total stations. And when we see interest in GPS for this product, because typically accident reconstruction is done by total station measurement, we will have a GPS driver version that will, in all likelihood, cost $500 more and run $16.50. This product is a good companion with the Carlson Surveyor. That's the lower priced data collector that we have, versus the Carlson Surveyor Plus, which is priced higher. With the Carlson Surveyor, a full keyboard data collector, CSI Mobile included, is $24.95. So that makes a very nice, affordable combination for a police department, sheriff's office, etc. Now, let's talk about the look of CSI Mobile. And by the way, I'm doing this presentation with information on how to hear the audio. This is our first webinar, if I understand, where we've gone with the potential for voice over IP so that you have no cost potentially in listening to the audio. However, if you're in the United States, and you can't hear me when I say this if you haven't got the audio yet, so I'll just underline that you can dial in the number I'm underlining and enter this access code, and then you have a small phone bill for the 1-hour webinar. Okay, so what we've done is we've simplified CertCE by removing all the tabs that appear on the first page. So basically, the entire product is one screen. And you still have the two worlds, we call them, of CertCE, the menu world, which is just one screen of options, and the map world, which, as you see here, looks similar to what CertCE offered and is basically identical for all practical purposes. When I X out of the map screen, I'm back into the menu screen. Now, let me start with one of the differences. Someone familiar with CertCE would look at this menu and say, well, where do I configure my equipment? I don't see an equipment tab. How do I tell the program I'm running a Sequia total station or a Leica total station or some other brand of total station? Well, we've put that in a new location. You would go to Configure, and when you hit the instrument, within Configure, because after all it is a configuration, you access what you used to access within the Equipment tab of CertCE. So that's just a little change that allows us to keep this simplified 12-option front-end screen. Now for accident reconstruction, most of the action is in store point. So let's go into that command and look at some of the differences in CSI Mobile versus ServCE. We come directly into the setup and backside screen, and this has been simplified, where if everything's good, you simply hit OK and move on, or you could remeasure it and kind of double check your backside. But I'm going to just hit OK. If that's lit up green, if that green check mark is lit up and not ghosted, that means you can go forward with either an enter on your data collector or by clicking the green OK. So here I am, set up on 1, backsiding 2, in the middle of probably a closed down intersection after an accident. Let me go straight to one of the new commands. Let's say there is a car situated to our northwest, if you will. Let me try to shoot that car in. What has changed here is we used to have R for read in ServCE. We've now put a car icon indicating this new feature focused on shooting and measuring positions of cars. So when I hit this, we have a series of options. Let me distinguish known passenger vehicle from the other options. If it's a known passenger vehicle, we have simplified the field time or minimized the field time by allowing you to do a 2-point measurement to locate the vehicle, because we have virtually every vehicle made as a car in a library. And you only need 1 shot on the vehicle and a 2nd shot for direction. Now, if you don't know what make and model it is, you would then select generic car or generic pickup or generic SUV or truck. But if you know the make and model, you can just hit the upper option. So this has the greatest automation and time saving while you're in the field. Let's go ahead and click this. And we go back to 1971. So if you see a 65 vehicle, you're going to have to call it a generic car. But let's say you had a 2002 Buick LeSabre. You can click 2002, select, moves on to the next screen. There's all your manufacturers. Here's the Buick. Within the Buick brand, you have a variety of models. Let's pick LeSabre. Most popular car of people over 50 years old, I've been told. Then I'm going to hit OK. And we show a drawing of it as it's going to appear in the program. Now, we don't have the exact look of a Buick LeSabre. We have a typical sedan, which we're going to stretch and dimension to fit the precise dimensions of a 2002 Buick LeSabre, this model. So you hit OK, and now you choose which single point you're going to use to locate that vehicle precisely, and which second point you're going to use for direction. So I'll say I'm going to pick the back rear tire position, which often can be found easily in the field, and hit Enter to take a shot. So I'll go, by the way, you can set it up to angle right or azimuth. Many police departments like to work azimuth. So I'll do an azimuth of 345. And I'll go a distance of 40 feet. And then this next shot is for the direction. It will not dimension from this shot because it knows the dimension of the vehicle. So if you can go to the front tire, it's only going to be used for the direction and orientation of the symbol as plotted. I could actually pick the right front tire, and the program would know what to do to use that as an orientation. So I'll hit Enter, and I'll go 345, and maybe I'll go 50. And there it is, 345, located in the intersection at the right dimension. Now, when I pan down to this, vehicle and click on it, you get the confirmation of what symbol was used, but when you go to this details button, you actually see that we know everything about it. And this will appear in a report that will be put together for use by the police departments from CSI Mobile. Let me hit X and back arrow. And let's repeat this for maybe a fancier car. Let's do a Jaguar over here. So we'll come in, do a known passenger vehicle. You get the idea. Nice 2005 version of Jaguar. Many types. And we'll pick a convertible. See how we do here. Hey, look at that. The symbol has changed to not a classic sedan, but more of a convertible look. So we will click OK to continue. And we're back to this. So let's just say we get the right rear tire. And I'll say that is an azimuth of 30 degrees, slope distance of 20 feet from where I'm set up. And just by chance, for orientation, I'll just go across the car and get the left front tire. And hit enter. And we'll go, I don't know, 28 degrees. This is strictly for orientation, and I'll go 29 feet. And there is the Jaguar as it's found on the site. Now, notice that it's drawn completely to scale. If I click it again, I can go to the details and see the dimensions of this Jaguar vehicle. It's precise, so it's drawn correctly. So imagine you in the field, 2 shots draws a complete car. You save the office time of redrawing this thing by inserting symbols with your office software. This is now in a DXF file form in the job, in this case, bind6.dxf, ready to go into any software that you choose to use on the office site. Keep in mind, we have Carlson CSI Office that will be evolving over this year. And so that's one of the major changes. Let's just do one more car. In this case, let's do one as a 3-point SUV, for example, because we don't really know what make and model. So we're going to have to do 3 precise points. This is a little more of a challenge because I'll have to put in, I'll skew the vehicle if I don't get good measurements. So let me just do a 270 and put something here over to the right. Here goes, or to the left. I'm going to do a generic SUV as a 3-point example. That looks good. By the way, what's this top bottom? You can actually say, here's the vehicle from the side if it actually flipped up on its side. Here's the vehicle facing up on its rear end, which would be difficult, or the front, unless it ended up in a ditch pointing straight up. Here it is if it flipped upside down, and normally you would see it from the top. So that's the purpose of this pull down. Now I'm going to hit OK and try to do this with 3 points on the tire positions. So when I do the back rear tire, I'm going to go 270, and I'll go 40 feet to my left. Then I'll hit the front rear tire, and I'll go 270, and I'll go maybe 50 feet to my left. Might be an extra long car. And then I'll get the front passenger side tire, and I'll go 267. Let's see, actually, back up. Let's go 273, and I'll go 50.5. And see how this comes out. Well, I kind of torpedoed my vehicle, but it would take literally your measurements. But it just shows you the simplicity of the 2-point shot if you know the make and model. And we have all these models in there. The library will be maintained going forward into 2009, 2010, etc. Okay. So much for the car. That can you pick up a site where 3 or 4 cars are involved. It's only car times 2 on the shots. You get in and out of there fast. Now, how about the issue of line work and what has changed there? If I just hit S for shot or side shot, or just hit enter to take a measurement, let's do some edge of pavements. So I hit enter, and I'll do something like 315, and we'll go 90 feet, and we can pick up, looking down through here, there's lots and lots of options in this list. I might actually choose a different, this is actually used by a particular police department. Looking for the edge of pavement, there it is, and I'll start a new edge of pavement line. This icon represents start a line. If you know the code to start a line, you can enter it, but if you just pick that, it enters it for you. Space ST to start a line. That's user definable, as I'll show you in a second. So I just started on point 38, another edge of pavement, maybe for the other side of the road. And let's go maybe a little less distance at 300. We'll go 300, and we'll go 65 feet. Now I could end my line there, or I could begin a curve. And there I am, starting the curve for the other side of the road here. And it's going to be difficult to actually make up pretend measurements here for this curve, but we'll go 296, and we'll go 60 feet for another point in the curve. I'm curving the wrong way there. And we'll go 287, and we'll kick it back out to 65 and see what that does for us on a funny-looking curve, probably. You don't have to end the curve, because if you just do 2 additional points, it assumes a 3-point arc. So I've hooked that arc pretty tightly there, and then you would take another shot to continue it, and I'll just attempt to do that for you, to end the line. So we hit enter, and maybe I'll go 250, and push it out there 100 feet and see where we end up. And we'll call this the end line. That's the end line icon. Well, I kind of ran it off to the side. Now here's an interesting thing. That would appear to you in the field as probably an error. Watch what happens when I hit 42. I can actually remeasure the point. This feature does not exist in ServCE. So if I hit remeasure point and go with the same code, I'm going to try to go in, how about let's see, trying to think what would work there. I'm going to go 260 and go 90 and see what that does for me. And hit OK. And I moved it a little bit. So clearly I need, looking from where I'm at, I really should go 260. I'm going to remeasure it one more time up to about 290. Let's try that. Remeasure it. Take the shot. 290. We'll go out 90 feet. Hit OK. And that might just be a multiple intersection. That might be correct. So that was pretty convenient. If you make a mistake in the field, you take a bad measurement, you see the results, you click the point, and you simply redo the shot. All this is storing legally into the RW5 file, the raw file for the project, which could be presented in court, and the points that are remeasured will turn into remarks. When you remeasure, your prior shots will be remarked out but not omitted from the RW5. Now, another nice thing that is different in CSI Mobile versus CERT-CE, it's actually in advance of CERT-CE 2.5, which is coming out late spring. Some of the features that will be in 2.5 are already in CSI Mobile. That includes the ability to shoot symbols. Let's shoot a couple trees. Before I do that, let me exit out and even switch my feature code list boldly here. Notice I'm in one called CPD. That actually stands for the Cincinnati Police Department. That's load walnut FCL, much smaller one. Hit OK. And I just got a few items in here. Let's try to shoot a deciduous tree. So I'm just visualizing what's here. Let's actually look at the editing of it, though. You see, you can select what symbol is involved. This is something new where we actually have symbol plotting in the screen that actually will appear in the DXF file, therefore will plot in any CAD program that you have. So that's where that's coming from. Let's, we don't need to resave that. Let's go over to store points. I'm fine with my setup and backside still. And let's see if I can actually get a tree by turning roughly 110 and going out 50 feet this way and pop a tree in that little zone over here. And so we'll go maybe 120 azimuth, 50 feet, and let's do a deciduous tree. Hit OK. There it is. And I'll do a pine tree over here at about 95 degrees, slope distance of 40 feet, and let's do a pine tree. There you go. Of course, that could be any symbol. This is more like a palm tree, but you could use any kind of symbol you want. One of our goals is that the libraries would evolve where we allow people to submit their libraries for use by others onto our website and then be pulled down into the product so that we have very fluid and evolving libraries, kind of viral libraries, if you will, for symbols. Okay. So you've seen how we do those features. Now, let's say I wanted to continue this line. Well, that sounds like a complicated thing. I'd have to go in and change this code here, or I'll shoot that point again, but not now in CSI Mobile. If I just click on the line away from the points, now watch, if I click too close to a point, I just get the classic point details, which has the new feature remeasure point, which I'm not going to use this time. But if I click on the line, something else will happen. Before I do that, let me run up to my little badge and list the points. So you see what I'm about to accomplish. There's my two trees at the end, but notice I did the EP3 and I ended it. So it's kind of pre-ended. How do I continue it? Well, click on the line and you have the option now to extend it or even do a new line from a point that you're nearest to. But I want to just extend the line. So watch what happens when we do this. It puts a little symbol there, and I can take another shot and keep the line going. And somebody was able to tell me what my last azimuth was to that point. I can go in the raw file and see it, but I'll just kind of guess it at about 280. I might make a little crooked line here, and I'll go 160 feet and really push it out there. See how it defaults to EP3? Because it found that from the code associated with the line. Now I truly want to end the line. Okay, not bad. It's kind of a little hook there, and I kind of went out in that direction. Okay, if I go to my badge and check out my points, notice it got rid of the EP3 end here. And instead, when I chose to end it on this shot, 45, the end was appended here. So some nice little extra intelligence. Now let's say that 42 had that little bend in it for some special reason. There was another line heading north there that actually was a fence line. All right? I click on this line nearest 42. Don't get too close, you'll get point details. Move away and click on it here. Now I'm nearest 42. I could extend it from 45 or whatever, but I want to do a new line from 42. That's the point I was nearest to. So I do new line, and aha, it puts a little symbol on 42. Now what this does, now practically, what this does for you, the policeman in the field, or the consultant doing this work in the field for a police department, is that you don't have to risk your life getting on this point if it's getting busy again, or for speed, you just can correct your mistakes, change your mind, or just add features by clicking near and saying a fence line's coming off there. So I'm going to say, let's say I don't even know ahead of time what the fence line code is. I'll just be lazy and stay with EP4, which it defaults to. Notice this line was EP3. It's intelligent to say you're going to do another EP, so it's probably EP4. I'm going to change its mind here in a second. I'll take the shot at 300. I hope this will work. And we'll go out, I'm just thinking from a looks standpoint, let's go out 150 feet. But I want to make it a fence. Come down to fence line, and I'll start the fence line there. And I will use the new code. I must have an FL1 already in progress, but I'll use the new code it suggests. Now, Romeo, you're online. Maybe you're verbal. Should that have drawn a fence from 42 to 46? Maybe you're not. Maybe he's muted out. I was going to ask one of the programmers if that actually should have drawn a fence.
It should have drawn a fence.
Yeah. Yeah.
FL, and we do have FL as a code? We do?
Yes. Go into our badge, codes, FL as a code. It's a 3D polyline. You see it right there. Let's take another one.
Check this.
I'll go out 200 feet on it. We'll go, I'll just go FL. I think I made an FL3, so I better be consistent there. Let's go out 300. Let's go way out there, 250 feet, and we'll end that line. There we go. So I did get the line there. But actually, in picking FL, coming off this point 42, I kind of expected the line to go 42 to 46. You know,
can we check for a second the description if you click on 42? Sorry.
And the description is still EP3. However, I can edit it, and I can go EP3 space FL3, and that actually, maybe I need to go FL3 space start.
Yes, start.
Let's go over to 43, edit that one, try that, and we'll come back out. Do you have any questions there, Romeo?
Yes, I'm sorry, and also you have an FL3 start again at 46.
That's probably what it is. Let's edit that and we'll back it out. It should have put the FL3 on the very first one. But now, when we come back in, it's drawn it. Now here's something new. For CSI users, when you just do any editing whatsoever like I did, either going right up to the helmet or going all the way out into the points, when you come back to the map screen or continue your work, it automatically does your field to finish. You don't have to issue the field to finish command. That also is something new with CSI Mobile. So this line details, we've always had point details. You pick on a point, you get the point details. But we now have line details where you can pick on a line and alter it. In fact, I could make an offset to the right. Let's say this was a parallel fence of some description. Just as an example, you can do a command like OH5 for a 5-foot parallel line there. If I were to go in and edit that point. I believe I can keep challenging the program, and not only does it continue EP3 through that point, but starts in FL3 and does an offset 5. You prepared for this, Romeo? We'll give it a shot. And how about that? Just like that, by saying on the first point that you shoot for any line work, if you put OH space and a value, you can create an offset to the right, positive value, or to the left, negative. Now, let's do a rectangle and show you how you could even do a building, if you wanted to, with the vertical part of the building shown. You could, where I'm set up here, I could do a building right on top of me fairly easily by going due south and then going due east, getting 2 shots and a point close to me, and that would make a rectangle. So let's kind of get up close to that and come back in to store points and show the concept of a rectangle. So if I come in, there I am. I'll do a BLD. Before I do a BLD, if you don't mind, I better put that into my feature code list. Here's how you add something new. You can go BLD for building. I'll make it a 3D poly. This is where you change its color, and I'll make it a green building. Put in the layer BLDG, and I don't need any full text because the polyline will be all I'm after. Hit OK, and back arrow. By the way, your special codes are coming from this option, and we have a variety of codes you can bring up. But we're saying that ST starts line, END ends line, that's user definable. We also have some powerful additional features which are new, like auto detect code pattern. What that means is if you're in this storing of the point and you're wanting to shoot left, middle, right, right, middle, left, left, middle, right, it'll auto detect by your 4th shot the repetition of a pattern, and it'll start to continue these lines automatically through pattern recognition. I have that feature off right now. That's also new in CSI Mobile. It'll find its way into ServCE 2.5. Now I'm going to do a BLD. The first point will be right kind of where I'm set up. So I'll do a 270 azimuth, barely move, and put in my first BLD. And I'll start it off. And I'm going to use a new point, skipping up to 48. And then I'll go 270. Let me see, I should have probably done another one first. 270 and done 30. And that'll be another BLD. Do I do the rect last, or should I have done the rect first there, Romeo? On the rectangle.
By 3 points, if it's by 3 points, the third one will close the rectangle. If
okay.
It's by
so I just say rect on my third one. I use the word RECT
yes.
on my third one, right?
Yes, yes.
Right.
That's good.
So now, can you do them out of order? Can I do the middle, and then the one to the left, and then the other one down this way? Can you do them out of order like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Should work, yes.
I haven't actually done one out of order before. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to go due south, which is a 180, and I'll go 40. And now I will say close the rectangle. I can just type space RECT or back up and use one of the icons. Actually, that's the wrong one. It's the green one. That's the rectangle. So because I did 3 points, it should close that rectangle. And it did it, but no, it only goes one direction, Romeo. It actually goes either counterclockwise or clockwise. So therefore, it got me sort of a, what we used to call that, a rhombus or something, or
parallelogram.
Parallelogram, yeah. So basically, I should have gone first, second, third, and then it would close it out. Should have done it in that order. Okay. But you see how that, that basically works there. Now, if you wanted to, say it was shaped like this, there's two ways you could have made this a building. You could have gone in the code, go over to points. You could have gone BLD space rect and then done space OH, at the very beginning, done OH4, OH like 0.1 and OV10 for a 10-foot vertical building. But another way is do it after the fact. Jump into the map screen and go to Draw Offset 3D. And I can say by interval, looking at the prompt up here, just do I'll just do a 0.5 horizontal so I can see it. Then I'll go up 12 feet to hit the top of it, select the polyline, and then hit continuous and go to the inside. And that would actually show up as a 12-foot higher, slightly offset second polyline in 3D that you could actually 3D face when you took it into a CAD package, and you'd see an actual building there. Okay, so that covers some of the new features. Let's investigate just a few more to show you the difference. And I do want to get to starting a new job to show you how we've simplified starting a job. But one of the features is all about the target height. Let's just take a random shot for another fence line here. Keep going on the same setup and backside. And I'm going to go off to the northeast at 45 azimuth, and I'm going to go 50 feet. And I'll do I'll do another fence line. Watch when I hit start line, it automatically goes to the next available FL, which is FL4. And what I wanted to point out was this business of the height. It's been at a target height of 4.7. If I say, give me some other options, it brings up every other target height you've used previously. And you can say, well, just switch me one time only to a booted pole at 8.2. Now take the shot and start my new fence line right in the middle of the road. And then I'll go over at 40 degrees and go out 75 feet, and I'll end my line. And I'm back to 4.7 because it was a one-time grab of a different rod height. Okay, so that's a new feature that'll find its way in a different form into SurfCE, but the ability to recall prior used rod heights but not have to remember them. They're on a handy list for you. Now the move up. The move up has changed. In fact, the very meaning of M has changed. It used to be sort of M for something else. Now it's M for move up. So many police departments like to get in and get out and not even change their setup. Just set up at a nice convenient place. They can see the whole site and just gather in all the shots. But if you have to move, you can hit the M for move, and it's super simplified. So police departments who often aren't used to surveyor terminology are comfortable with the command. So watch how it coaches you. Target height. You don't do anything yet. It says confirm the target height, measure to next setup. You click that. Now you measure to the next setup. I'm going to go over 95 degrees over 200 feet to pick up more of the job. Now it gives you an instruction. Move to new point and set up your total station. When you're there, click continue or enter when completed. So I hit continue. Now you're on the new backside screen. It holds your occupied point, your backside point, and says go ahead and measure to your previous setup. So it's fairly explicit in terms of what to do. Almost kind of traps you into a fail-safe methodology. So I'll do my backside. I've already forgot what distance I used. I'll probably have an error from, yeah, I'm off by 80 feet, but I'll continue. Setup completed. So, yeah, that's right. It was 200. So how about that for a nice little warning? that your backside distance didn't match up to your foresight to the move up. But that's a valuable thing. So here you are on your new point, ready to gather other shots in. Okay, another thing that has changed is the issue of offsets to a tree. So if you were shooting the center of a tree and I pick a tree like my deciduous tree, well, that just stored it direct there. Let me just do another one real quick. We got one little issue running, and Terry and Romeo are seeing it, and they're seeing why it's important for us to even fix the manual mode. The azimuth actually, this needs to be taken care of when I do a move up. It works with a total station, but not in this sort of manual simulator, which is quite frustrating. If I go out 270, it's not going to be the 270 you expect. It's kind of like a 270 with respect to my last move up. And I really do need to have that taken care of, even in simulation mode. Apparently, it's just fine because we have people using it with total stations because of the different way we connect to them. But anyway, another tree's popping in here. But if you want to get a tree in an offset, you hit offset. It doesn't have to be a tree. We happen to use a tree symbol, but it illustrates it nicely. That could be an offset to a pole, offset to anything you can't get to the middle of. So it tells you graphically that it wants a distance to the offset position first. So I go read distance, and it's really focused right now on the distance factor. And now it wants the angle to the center of whatever object it is. The tree is just symbolic of the offset feature. And store it, and hit OK, and get back out, and there's my third tree. And that one was done by doing the offset method. So we've simplified offsets to be graphical and explicit in terms of what to do. Okay, those are some of the main changes. Let me start a new job and show you how we've simplified kind of getting started from scratch. You go into job, and I'll create a new job. This is a whole new look. It says, okay, you're just going to name it down here, but if you want to see your other file names so you don't overwrite something, you can see them. But we don't show that so we don't clutter your world or your visual experience unless you say show it. So that is, again, to simplify simplify the visual experience of the package. So I'll call this one 2nd Street. And continue forward. You can just hit enter to continue forward. And there you are. You don't really have to worry about your projection too much, except if I hit create a new job, I can type in maybe 3rd Street and hit go forward and hit go forward and continue on. And you pick your starting coordinate, and there you are, setting up and backsiding. You don't even have to put in 0.2. You can measure it, go 100 feet, and it automatically assigns 2 to it. So it has a very simple get started. So that pretty much covers the range of new features. And Carrie, if you're online or have fielded any questions, or Romeo as well, I'm happy to address them, or you could address them directly through the audio.
We answered questions over text, but the questions just in general were about the symbols. If you could place the symbol on its side, upside down. Romeo explained that there was a side, top, bottom, front, rear view. There was a question about hidden points, and I explained offsets, which you showed quite nicely. So yes, maybe if we can just show the side and rear view or under view.
I'll do one on its side. That's fairly rare, but let's just see how it comes out. Hit OK. And I'll get 2 tires. And another one. And see how this looks. And there's that car on its side, actually in plan view, looking down, top down. So yes, regarding cars, they can be plotted on their side, upside down, which would be more common than on its side, as well as the most common, 99% of the time, top down, right side up. Any other items, Romeo, that I should address, or have I pretty much covered it fully?
Everything is probably maybe a little bit about setup, that we actually have still option for the user under the instrument configuration right there. And although we removed a lot of the power user under configure, the new tab that we have backside, and here the user still can get back to the original instrument setup that is maybe familiar from other survey packages. So if you uncheck when measuring backside and store points, the first checkbox, you're actually going to get check angle, set angle, set. So that's all.
Yes, and notice that we have it set to a backside azimuth, whereas a lot of people like to use set horizontal angle to 0 as they take their backsights and just turn from 0. So you can work either the azimuth backside method or the set 0 backside method. And sets are unlikely, but you can still get to them through that tripod icon in the lower right of your screen. And notice that's where our, let me just continue forward, that's where our tolerance is also set in the backside tab there, which is why when I shot to my next setup 200 feet, but backside only 120, I was off 80 feet. That certainly exceeded the tolerance. But this tolerance can be set at any level to warn the users in the field if their foresight to points and backside from those points are not matching within tolerance. Okay, well that's good. I think we'll finish there, and appreciate those of you who have sat in on this, and we'll look forward to working with you if you'd like to pick up a copy of CSI Mobile. Thank you.